Hi everyone, I'm Jamie, and this is a Dead by Daylight discussion video again, because I want to talk about my overall feelings on the mid-chapter patch PTB. So all in all, I think this is a good patch. I like this patch, I'm excited for it to go to live. I think it does need some changes, but ultimately, I think it's a good patch. I like this patch. I think it's going to be fun. The meta's been stale for a good while now, especially on the survivor side, and it really needs a shake up, and it's definitely got it. The meta has finally been shaken up for the first time in fucking years. I do have some concerns. And I want to talk about those like sporadically. I'm going to sprinkle in some things I'm happy about as well. But first things first, I think Iron Will got over-nerfed. I don't think it needed quite that heavy a nerf. It was a good perk, don't get me wrong, but I think it needed one or the other. Either make the grunt 75% or make it deactivate when you're exhausted. Don't do both. That's overkill. I think DS got over-nerfed as well. I think it's fine that it deactivates during endgame. I think that's great. I think that's a good change. But I think you need to reverse it so the stun is 5 seconds, because 3 seconds is absolutely nothing to Nurse and Blight. Nurse and Blight can just cut that distance from a 3-second stun in no time at all. It means nothing to them. It's just a nerf to weaker killers. It's nothing to Nurse and Blight, which is not what we need. I think Off the Record was over-buffed, you know. Hot take, I know. No one's talking about this perk, but, you know. It's controversial topics here. But yeah, it's what it didn't seem to say in the dev notes. I don't know if it did. Nobody was talking about it, but it still has its other effects. Like, you still don't get any blood or grunts of pain or whatever it is. Your aura is hidden, and 80 seconds endurance. Overkill. I would suggest lowering it to 60 seconds and making it deactivate in endgame. Basically bringing it in line with DS, which is what it's trying to emulate. I don't think self-care needed a nerf, like, at all. I think it was totally fine the way it was, but it's still okay with botany. It's still a viable perk, you just have to run it with botany, which is kind of disappointing, but, you know, it's fine. You know, I don't think self-care needed a nerf, but never mind. Botany's buff outside of self-care, like, is absolutely insane. Like, I was in a game on the PTB with two people, both me and Ania, that were running Will Make It, Botany. I was running Desperate Measures, I don't remember if they were, but our heals together were like 2 seconds. It was insane. Like, Botany's buff outside of self-care is insane, but without Botany's buff, it makes self-care useless. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. It wasn't in the PTB, but I like that they've kind of stepped back on their changes for Spine Chill. They've kind of like stepped back on it a bit. It wasn't in the PTB, but now Spine Chill will work based on the killer's terror radius. So when they're looking at you within their terror radius, I think, then you will get the Spine Chill proc. So basically, it now won't work on stealth killers, which is good. I think that's good, because, you know, stealth killers are undetectable. If Spine Chill can detect them, then they're not undetectable. So I think that's a good change for Spine Chill, because that line of sight thing was absolute horseshit, and I'm glad that's gone. Because that was the worst possible change they could have ever done to it. That made it absolutely useless, but I'm glad they've not done that anymore. I'm absolutely terrified of Lightweight. Lightweight is the perk that scares me most. Fuck Off the Record. Like, at least I can find survivors with that. At least I know where they are. They're in my face trying to take a hit. With Lightweight, terrified of it. Like, I tested it on the PTB. You literally have to be right behind the survivor to see their scratch marks, because they disappear so quickly and they're so sporadic. Like, it's mental. Lightweight, terrified of it. Absolutely terrified of that perk. It's mental. I love the Dead Hard change. I think it's perfect. Like, just what Dead Hard needed. It's still a strong perk. It'll still be meta, but it won't define the meta. It won't control the meta, which I think is good. Like, you know, you still need some strong perks out there. And, you know, Dead Hard's kind of a hard one to make weak. Because of just the way it is. It's about dodging hits. It's what it's about. But, yeah, I think, I tested it. You can't do anything while you're dead harding. You can't do a thing. You can't drop a pallet. You can't vault a window. You can't do shit. Like, you're stuck in that fucking dab hard animation And that's all you can do. Because I was really worried that you'd just be able to activate the endurance and then vote a window, and you just get loads of distance and it'd be stronger than it was before. But that's not the case. That's not the case. You can't do shit when you're in the dark hard animation. So, yeah, I like it. However, I would suggest removing the ability to stack endurance. Like, I know it's fun, but I think it can be a bit too overpowered in the right hands. Ultimately, if they don't, I think it's fine. I think they might, and I wouldn't mind it. Ultimately, I think it's okay, because most of the time, survivors who try this stacking endurance shit will throw the game, because they need to get, like, Metal of Man, and they need to get all this other shit, and they need to, like, waste their styptic, and, you know, it's just a little fun, memey thing. It's not like it'll, you know, win them the game or anything. Most of the time, it'll lose them the game. But ultimately, people are going to get very annoyed, and it might lower the amount of killer players, so I would suggest making it so you can't stack endurance. However, that would need another change as well, because you can't just make it so that endurance doesn't stack, because you need to change Legion first. Well, not first, but, like, at the same time. Because if you make it so endurance can't stack, then that gives Legion a buff I don't think they need. Because once you've been Feral Frenzied, it means you couldn't dead hard, and I don't think Legion need that. So I don't know, maybe make it a frenzied wound or something instead of yellow. Make the bar red, and you know, just change it so that it no longer puts you in the same deep wounds as everything else. Because like to make endurance not stack, you'd need to make it so endurance perks deactivate once you're in deep wounds. And that would deactivate Dead Hard when you're against Legion. So they need to change Feral Frenzy, but then make it so that Endurance doesn't stack, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, I do like the idea of more interaction between Killer and Survivor. If, you know, I'm playing Killer and Survivors are getting in my face, trying to take hits for each other, trying to interact with me, I'd much rather that than, you know, spend my time running around in what is seemingly an empty wood, trying to find survivors that seemingly don't exist. And then I just hear, bing! Ping, 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 and they're just doing jazz. I can't find them. So I'd much rather, you know, they were in my face interacting with me. Some of the most fun games I've ever had are with survivors that are like just always in my face, trying to pull off dumb shit. I find that way more fun than survivors just hiding in the middle of nowhere and popping gens without me even fucking seeing them. So I'm fine with that, but I do get how, you know, the constant stacking of endurance could lead people to be really, really frustrated. And, you know, it's not the playstyle that everyone wants, so, you know, I get it. I get it. I get it. I do like the idea of more killer-survivor interaction, though. I think that's the way the meta should be going. And also, speaking of, you know, the game feeling better, the killer buffs seem nice. I haven't actually played killer. I've only played against them. But the killer buffs seem nice, because playing killer on the PTB is like fucking ripping off your fingernails and stabbing yourself to death with them. No, I can't play killer on the PTB. But yeah, it seems nice. Like, you don't get as much of a speed boost when you get hit, so the W meta has been weakened. It takes them less time to kick pallets. W meta weakened. Anything that weakens the W meta, A-okay. A-okay with me. Anything that weakens that fucking just hold W in a straight line, yes. A+. Because that is the most boring shit in the game. Just slowly following behind somebody who's just Wing across the map. And it's strong. It's strong. I get why people do it. I do it when I play Survivor. But anything that weakens that, hell yeah. Yeah, base kit time. Base kit time, lovely. I love base kit borrowed time. Not having to worry about, you know, unhooking without borrowed, it's excellent. Because, like, I want to run other perks as Survivor. I don't want to have 3 perk slots because borrowed time is basically compulsory. Like, I love base kit time. That's excellent. Like, and I love not having to worry about people unhooking me without borrowed. Excellent. Also, on that topic, Off the Record's buff seems like it's for a different era. Because Off the Record would have been so nice before base kit borrowed time, if you get me, because you could just have it on and you wouldn't have to worry about your teammates not having borrowed time because you could give yourself borrowed time. You know, it seems like it's from a different era, but anyway. The new prestige system, yes, fucking amazing. I love having access to all the perks. Amazing, fucking phenomenal. Although they were fucking sneaky with that 50,000 blood points to prestige, weren't they? They were fucking sneaky with that. That wasn't mentioned anywhere in the dev update. They just snuck that in last minute. Sneaky bastards. Because wasn't this whole prestige thing to reduce the grind? And 50,000 blood points to prestige, say, a survivor is 4 survivor games to just prestige. And you can't put any blood points into that character until you prestige them, because the prestiging is compulsory, because you can't get anything else on that character until you prestige. 50,000 blood points, get rid of it. That seems really sneaky to me. And I also don't care much for the shiny P3 portraits. I don't care much for them. I really wanted to like them, but I really don't care for them. And also, why give people the option to turn it off if you thought it was something we'd want? They knew it was garbage. They knew it was garbage. But it is alright on 1 or 2 characters. Like, I mostly just hate it when it's on all your characters, but it's alright on 1 or 2. It makes my Cheryl feel special. She's my only P3 survivor. So, it makes her feel special. But yeah, I get this video was a bit rambly and a bit fast-paced, but I basically just wanted to get through all of my thoughts on the PTB in a relatively short video, because I didn't want to rant for ages. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the B-roll. This was a very fun Huntress game. And yeah, I hope to see you in my streams at 4 PM BST every single weekday, and hope to see you on my next YouTube video. Take care, love ya, bye bye.